YouTube, Awesome Rider here. Welcome to my review for Gotchard Episode 5. So, to be honest, this is my least favorite episode of the season. This will be a relatively short review. I am going to discuss my future plans about covering the series and throw a question off to you guys. I might even put up a community poll too, but let's talk about the episode first. So this was kind of your standard filler episode, primarily revolving around the wrestler Kemi and the new Ant Wrestler form, and a classic story where we primarily focus on a filler character of the week. You do have a little bit of stuff at the beginning with, which I did find funny, of Hotaro wondering like, oh, I wonder what the villains need the chemis for. And then they show a flashback of when they told him what they wanted the chemis for, like, we want to use it to open the dark door or whatever. Now I know there's still stuff, like, we don't know exactly 100% about their plans, but I just found that funny that he's like, I wonder what they need it for, and then he's having a memory of knowing what they need it for. But basically, the villains are like, we need to be proactive about, you know, bonding chemis with human malice, and they select this wrestler guy that's embroiled in this story with this other wrestler dude and the Yakuza, and they end up finding this wrestler guy that's, like, partnered with a chemi who's taken, like, the form or the possession of a wrestler figure, which is admittedly kind of amusing. And the whole idea was just about the bond between those two, and I think kind of furthering the themes of, like, the bond between two things, you know, being alchemy and you know, Hotaro bonding to chemis and bonding with chemis, and it was all fine. It just never connected with me. Like, again, I thought that it was fun and silly that you had, like, the little action figure thing, but I could not care less about toku filler characters. So it's like they're trying to do this emotional stuff with this wrestler guy, and I just couldn't care less. I was more so just amused by some of the funny stuff about it and, like, the training and all that stuff. And there was also an amusing part where he transforms into kind of one of the final attack ride forms, I want to call them, which is like this butterfly gun, which I think is hilariously creative. It was like, oh, that was a highlight of the episode. That tells you of how much I liked this episode, that a highlight was just a butterfly gun. And of course, with this, we do debut the next form, which is the Ant Wrestler form, which is without question my favorite form outside of the main form. Like, all of the suits have been good so far. The samurai form's great. Like I said, I think the base form is still my favorite just because I really like it. Last week's wasn't my absolute favorite, but I appreciate the creativity behind it. But this one is just a great form. It looks really great. I love the color palette. So, like, the main highlights for me were just seeing the cool new form in action, that butterfly gun stuff. Spanner showed up briefly. It actually looks like next week's going to be more about him, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to next week. But yeah, it just was my least favorite episode, you know, and I hate to keep bringing it up every week, but Hotaro just gets on my nerves more and more each week. I just can't stand the twerp, and it sucks because, like, I'm not disliking the show overall. I find it to be really generic, especially this week's episode was very much like by-the-numbers writer about a useless filler character, not a whole lot of plot momentum, very minimal involvement of the main plot. You know, but that's not necessarily awful or anything to me. It's more about Hotaro just being so annoying, like, I want to do a chemistry! It's like, oh my god, shut up. And I don't believe in him. Like, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't find him to be a believable human character. Like, there's like a weird sliding scale because they do have, a lot of them have these cartoony personalities, but there's varying ones like Build and Juru from Kara Major, where they're a little bit eccentric and energetic, but I truly do, like, believe that they believe in what they believe in, if that makes any sense. Like, I can believe in their heroism. And then there's other characters that kind of skirt a line. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Zero One, like, as a character, or like him wanting to protect Terminators, but I believed in his perspective, just because you do have his backstory with being raised by a human gear and stuff. So, like, I guess, like, a better way of putting it is I understood his motivations. Now, I understand Hotaro's motivations on paper, and I can more support protecting these creatures than robots. But I just feel like his motivations about the chemis and wanting to befriend them and protect them is so manufactured. Like, it's what the script says, so I just don't believe in him. Plus, he's annoying AF. So that's really what's dragging the show down. The show's generic as hell, but it's not bad or anything. His everything is making it worse for me. So yeah, this episode for me was a 2 out of 5. I just didn't like it that much at all. I did want to talk about future coverage because I did say in the past I was going to cover through episode 5 and see where I'm going to go from there. I do want to keep up with the show because despite Gotchard being very generic, I still am on a bit of a toku kick, and I want to try to keep that going. I don't want to fall behind. I feel like this would be a tough show to binge. I think what I'm going to do, and I want to throw it off to you guys too, what you would like to see me do, is I'm going to still cover it individually through episode 10. I think that it's still taking a while for me to see the full picture of the show. I want to give it a few more episodes to see if it's worth covering weekly, and if not after that, You know, I'll put up a poll or something. I want to know what your guys' thoughts are. If you want to see me continue to cover it weekly, or after episode 10, should I just do every 5 or 10 episodes? So do like, you know, episodes 11 through 15 review, or episodes 11 through 20 review. Again, I'll put up a poll after episode 10 about whether you want to see individual or chunks, like 5 10 episode chunks, but I am going to try to keep up with it still. But I want to do 5 more episodes just because usually around 5-ish is when you get a gauge for it. And I feel like I have a gauge for how I feel about it right now, but I still feel like I don't have the full picture and I want to give it a shot. But let me know what you guys think. But anyways, guys, until next time, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and climb the steps and ring that bell so you get notifications for my videos. Dawson Rider, signing out.